All right. Well, good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get City of Des Moines public meeting virtually for the Western Ingersoll sewer separation, mainly to talk about the second phase of this large project. I want to thank everyone for joining us here. My name is Steve Neighbor. I'm the city engineer for the City of Des Moines. I've got members with me on the call. I've got Patrick Bean from our Public Works Department, Dave Camp, and Justin Miller and Brad Brockman from our Engineering Department, Tom Block from Deputy City Engineer, and I also see we have our Council Member Carl Voss joining us as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'd much rather be having these meetings in person, but due the pandemic hopefully ending nearing the end, this is how we've been operating, and so I appreciate everyone joining us virtually. The one big recording this meeting, so if you are a colleague, if you'd like to if a colleague or a neighbor or a friend or family member didn't get to see the meeting, we will post the recording of this meeting on our city website. And so hopefully you see on the some instructions on how to operate Zoom. We're going to give a presentation as quick to kind of describe the background of the project and what the project is, and then we'd like to take some time to open up for questions. So, like I said, I want to thank you for our county council member Carl Voss. And so thank you to all the folks who are joining us virtually here. If you're on a phone, we ask in the question and answer period that you raise your hand. And so hopefully you see on the instructions, if you click on the participants tab, that's a way that you can click on that and it'll allow you to raise your hand, and then we'll call on you. That will give everyone a chance to speak. If you're on *9 to raise your hand, and then you press *6 to unmute yourself. So again, if you're on a phone, *9 to raise your hand and *6. Otherwise, if you're on a computer and you can see your menu bar, you go to the participants tab, and that will allow you to raise your hand, and we'll call on you for questions. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started here. Click forward here. We're going to give you the background of the project, talk about what we're proposing here for this phase, and then we're going to cover here about tonight is an effort the city is undertaking and quite a ways along with separating sewer system, separating combined sewers. So the goal of the Western Ingersoll is to separate the stormwater and sanitary flows into a separate system, separate storm sewers, separate sanitary systems, to reduce flow to the Des Moines Metropolitan Wastewater Reclamation Facility, and also prevent combined sewer overflows. And so this is a map here that shows where we have combined sewer overflow here. Just far up there. And so combined sewer systems are sewers that are designed to collect rainwater runoff, domestic sewage, and industrial wastewater in the same pipe. Most of the time, combined sewer systems transport all the wastewater to a sewage treatment plant where water body. During periods of heavy rainfall or snowmelt, however, the in a combined sewer system can exceed the capacity of the sewer system or the treatment plant. For this reason, combined sewer systems are designed to overflow occasionally and discharge directly into the nearby streams, rivers, or other water bodies. So not a good thing environmentally, but it needs to be done to backups. And so dealing with combined sewers is a very common issue faced by many river cities. I mean, there's 14 cities in Iowa that deal with it, and there's nearly 800 in the U.S. that have combined sewer systems. So it's a common thing for river cities. In 2003, the city developed a long control plan as part of the National Pollutant District, and that plan include a phased approach of capital improvements to eliminate the number of combined sewer overflows. And the goal is to get it at the wastewater treatment facility by the end of 2023. And so this phase here, Western Ingersoll, oops, skip forward too much, is focusing on eliminating the combined sewer overflow located at and our goal is to eliminate that one by 2023. So what is the Western Ingersoll? Located in the western part of our city, generally bounded by East 31st Street on the east, I'm sorry, by 31st Street on the east, bounded on the south by Grand Avenue, in the west, you're located line between 44th and 45th, and then on the north, roughly about University Avenue, Forest Avenue, in that range is the boundary. So that's the basin.
And we have no audio, so.
Whoop. So the total area of this basin is about 820 acres. However, really the Western Ingersoll Basin is kind of two separate basins, one north of Interstate 235 and one south of Interstate 235. And so the southern part of the basin, south of I-235, is completely combined. It has no separate storms, no separate storm sewer systems. There are about 30 in sewer system, and there are storms in part of the basin, and so there's just only
I get it. All right.
Whoops. Whoops. Okay. And so here's kind of the photo that shows that image of the two different basins. So so the city has started design of the various phases. Currently we're phase 2, detailed project soon here. And phase 3 will be starting design. Actually, survey has been completed and conceptual layouts have been done for phase 3. Oops. So here's kind of a map that shows the different phases. Sorry, my mouse is a little sensitive. So you can see we broke off the Western Ingersoll sewer separation to 3 phases. In yellow, this phase it's already been awarded and it will be under construction later this spring. Phase 2, shown in green, is north of I-235. Sections south of I-235, primarily 35th Street and Grand Avenue. So there's kind of a highlight of phase 2. And there's phase 3. So I'm going to turn it over to Dave Camp. He's going to talk more in detail about, so get to your slide here. And Dave, if you want to describe more detail what's going on in phase 2.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. So I'm going to talk a little bit of the details of what the streets are and kind of some of the detailed improvements as we move through. So this is kind of an overview, focusing a little bit more in, and we'll zoom into each one of these as we go through to kind of give you even a closer look. So looking at this map, you can kind of see I-235 to the south and University up to the north. And you see Roosevelt High School is in the bottom left corner of your screen. And you can kind of see, looking north there, working your way north, there's a stage going along 43rd Street up to Kingman and all the way up 44th Street, all the way up to University is one area. Another area that we're going to be talking about is just right behind the Playhouse area down by the I-235 and 42nd Street, and doing some work in and around behind the Shops of Roosevelt in that area. And then the third major area that we'll be looking at is along 33rd Street over to the right-hand part of your screen, and some of the side streets through there. So we'll take a look at each one of these and kind of go into a little detail. And we'll start with that little area just up 43rd Street, just north of Roosevelt. So if you want to scroll down. So this is looking at the 43rd Street. And you may remember a couple years ago, we did the streetscape along 42nd Street, and we did a large sewer as part of that project. And then we did another project that extended that sewer along Crocker Street up to the where the old median was. That provided the outlet for this storm sewer. So also last year we repaved California Drive just to the top of your screen too. So this will complete a really a good improvement for the neighborhood, along with working on the sewers here. So this kind of shows the storm sewer headed up 43rd Street and continues up to the north, up to Kingman Boulevard. And so we'll be putting connecting a couple intakes along Kingman, and then scroll down one, and we'll traverse over along Kingman Boulevard over to 44th Street. Then once we get over to 44th Street, we'll head north along 44th Street. Now we're looking at this kind of shows the sewer going up about halfway up 44th Street north of Kingman, and we'll be replacing half of the street and milling and overlaying the other half. Now 44th Street is also on Public Works list to address as pavement condition as well. So if you scroll down, even though we don't have sewer extending north all the way up to University, as part of this project, we're still going to address some of the street and pavement issues up along there. So down the next one shows us just stopping up at University. So looking down at the next one, kind of showing we're going to be looking over and jumping over to the east side of the project and along 33rd Street. So looking at this one, starting down at Crocker, kind of right at the freeway, is off to your left, going up and down. So we're the north is to your right. There's actually currently a storm sewer that is located on the west side of this street on 33rd Street. However, it cannot accommodate the additional flows that need to be brought into this from some of the side streets and some of our decombining efforts. So the solution was to install a new storm sewer along the east side of the street. So you'll see some of these on these graphics, you'll see, well, it looks like these storm sewers are not tying to anything, like right there at Iola on the west side of the street. But there currently is a storm sewer on the west side of the street. So the plan is we would continue the storm sewer up north, past Iola up to School Street, and we'll you see the storm sewer going up School Street. We'll come back and look at that one in a separate slide. So this will extend all the way up to Kingman, and it'll continue north. There's a little jog there, and you'll kind of see some of these areas will run into some very significant trees along the corridor. So you'll see where that's a specific location. Our plan is that we would bore some of these pipes past some of these major trees to try and accommodate not impact the trees with any sewer construction as much as possible. So the sewer continues on up the north up to Cottage Grove and picks up the rest of the intakes up at Cottage Grove. So scrolling down, we'll be looking at School Street there that connects into 33rd Street, and we're looking at west to east here. So we're over at 35th Street. So the sewer connects into some intakes running along 35th Street and continues easterly down School Street and continues on down to 33rd Street and connects into that existing sewer on the west side of the road. School Streets, we're looking at replacing half the street and then doing a mill and overlay on the north half. So once we leave these areas where we have sewer plan, the streets will be in very good condition too. So a nice added improvement to the neighborhood. So looking down, next we're looking at Kingman Boulevard. So scroll down, and so we started at 35th Street, and now Kingman is a very characteristic road. We have a boulevard, lots of trees, and so what our plan is to, you can kind of see the gaps in the pavement replacement through here. Our plan is to bore the storm sewer through a large portion of this stretch along Kingman to help reduce the impacts to the trees along this corridor. So you'll have a bore there, and then as you move further to the east, we'll continue to do a separate bore along there till we get over to 33rd Street and connect into that same sewer that we connected to earlier. So looking down, we'll look at next to the area down near the Playhouse and behind the shops of Roosevelt in that area. So this is looking just directly south of the Playhouse, right at 42nd Street and the I-235 off ramp. Now the sewer tie-in in this location is extremely deep when in this area. So that's why we're showing that dash line or crosshatch line of a bore down through this area. So as we continue up and around the curve next to the Playhouse, it's the same. It's kind of interesting. This sewer comes up to 41st Street, but we're going to be boring portions of this stretch of roadway, mainly due to access, making sure we maintain access for the Playhouse, and also as we move forward up toward the north here, we're looking at boring some additional areas, because this, as you know, is the only egress for the shops at Roosevelt, the parking lot to the back, in addition to the parking lot in the front of the shops at Roosevelt. So we've taken into account the access to this area plus the neighborhood, and so you'll see us doing a lot of boring through here. There's a lot of positives for that method of construction. So these also, we're going to be putting in some contract provisions in here so we don't do both of these streets or all these streets all at once. So we all step them through in a staged construction plan. So looking at Rollins right here, so to give you a 41st to 40th place, the playhouse is just to the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. So Rollins will be extending a storm sewer over a block to 40th Place. We are planning on replacing that northern side of the pavement and just milling and overlay the south side. However, on the south side, the curb is kind of non-existent and you can't see it. So we will be replacing some curb along the south side to create that nice urban roadway through here as well. So, so looking down, this is looking up at Crocker Street from 41st and the sewer headed toward the east. And the storm sewer is located on the south side of the road because there's a major water main on the north side of the road. So there again, we're looking at replacing the south half of the roadway and whatever in those blue hatches, we're milling and overlaying the north half. And then we extend east of 40th Place. So scroll down to the next one, and that extends over to 40th Street. So to give you an idea where the end of that storm sewer is. So with that, this is just a drawing of kind of our typical, what you would expect when we do a full reconstruction of those streets, a 27-foot back-to-back, which allows parking in a residential area. If the street is narrower than that and we're just doing a mill and overlay, this is mainly for those streets that get completely reconstructed. So what to expect? So as Steve mentioned earlier, the phase 1 project has been out for bids and has been awarded. So that will start here soon, and that's mainly south of the freeway. So we're talking mainly north of the freeway with phase 2. So we're getting to a point where we're finishing up the design and making some modifications as needed, hoping to bid that here soon, and then start construction this summer, and then finishing up the project, in 2023. And then the final phase to meet our 2023 deadline would be bidding out that phase 3 project in next spring, about this time next year, starting construction and then completing that also in 2023. So that's kind of the schedule and the route forward. So we'll sure take notes tonight and take any comments and address any questions you have. But if you leave the meeting and you think of something, you can always contact Justin, who's the project engineer. And if you want to look at on the What City website on the project map as well, you can always find Justin's contact information there as well. So with that, love to entertain any questions or comments anyone has.
And thanks, Dave. And like we said, we will post this recording and this PowerPoint on the website. If you go to www.dsm.city, go to the engineering department and projects and studies, www.dsm.city, then you'll see this project will have a lot of background, graphics, and also again posting these PowerPoints and these presentations as well. So scroll back real quick to the instructional slide just so people can see again how to we ask folks for questions. If you please raise your hand and then we'll unmute you. That way we can have everyone get a chance to speak. So if you're on a phone, *9 to raise your hand, and then *6 to unmute. Otherwise, menu bar, and you can do participants and then raise your hand in that matter. So that being said, do we have any questions or comments on the Western Ingersoll sewer separation phase 2? And also, again, I want to thank I see we have Mayor Frank County, Councilmember Carl Voss, Councilmember Josh Mandelbaum. Thank you for joining us as well. So if you have any comments, feel free to let us know. We have Amy. Let me let's see here. See if you can unmute there. There you go.
Great, thank you. You say that this project, I'm on 44th Street, and you said the project will start in the summer. Do you have any sense of exactly when during the summer that will occur?
So let's see, I'm gonna look back at 44th Street. So what we'll do is we'll put in a staging plan as what we would think it would occur. But once the contractor gets in the contract, he may adjust some of his schedules and look at that. So the best, that's kind of the best we can give you right now is this summer. The one thing that I can tell you is the area down near the playhouse, there is a gas main that needs to be relocated. And also that's a very high traffic area for school drop-offs. So we're going to require the contractor to work on that area starting after school of next year and complete it before school starts the following year. So if I was betting and the way we're setting up the staging, I would think they would start on 43rd Street at the low end up by Crocker and move to the north. So I would assume that's my best estimate, that they would start that maybe early summer and work their way up. Now, when we will provide the folks along these streets and such more information and more detail as we get it from the contractor and as they start to mobilize into work. So this won't be the only notice you'll get. So
Okay, great, thank you. Is there any provision for emergency vehicles if someone would need an ambulance or fire truck or something while the work is going on?
yeah, so how we work on these is now, to be clear, these are very disruptive. I won't sugarcoat
Yep.
So what our goal is we try and keep local access to residents as much as possible. So as we go through there, we put items in the contract for temporary surfacing and rocking, and we try and not remove all the pavement as we're putting the sewer in to try and keep access back. So as we proceed forward, then once the sewer is installed, we give a specific amount of time. So we continually work with EMS to notify them of road closures and situations. So EMS is always aware what is closed. So if they do need to get in there, they are aware of those being under construction and sometimes they sometimes they can just drive through the construction site and that's okay. Other times they know it's an issue, so they know they have to walk up there or something. So depending on the emergency type. So
I know that in the area south of here, you were talking about doing some permeable pavement. Are you talking about doing that here as well?
We focused a lot of permeable pavements in the phase. You're referring to the phase 1 section?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the items were the lay of the land and the outlet of phase 2 had a lot more constriction to it. When I say that is, we're tying into some other sewers that that are a little needed a little bit of help in the capacity issue. This area did not have, this was designed to accommodate this flow when they designed I-235. So we focused a lot of permeable pavings down into the phase 2 area. And that's where we put a lot of the focus of that. So we're not looking at a lot of permeable paving in this section of the project.
Okay. And are we likely to lose trees on the east side of the street on 44th in the area where the sewer will be replaced in the parking?
I was gonna see if Brad, if you had the plans available to look and see what you have identified there.
Yeah, Dave, this is Brad. Majority of the sewer here is fairly shallow. It's not overly deep, and it's not a large diameter pipe. And we are not anticipating losing any trees along this stretch
Great.
at this time.
Okay, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy? Okay, I see, let's see here. Paul? Let's see if we can. Paul, let's see if you can unmute yourself. I'll try again. We'll try here again, Paul, and see if we can. There you go.
All right, sorry. First of all, I apologize for not being muted earlier on. And now I'm wanting to know, is it the east side of 44th Street that will be totally replaced?
Yes, yep, that is correct.
And during that time, will we have any access for those of us who live on the east side of the street?
Yeah, so what we try and do is put like rock accesses back through to get you back into your drives as much as possible. So there will be times you won't have access, as for example, if we're putting the sewer directly in front of your driveway. And then also as we pave that section of the street back, and then when we pave your driveway, actually the approach sections back. So, you know, so a lot of times these total construction on say 44th Street might take, let's say 4 weeks or 5 weeks or a month. That doesn't mean you will not have access to your driveway for that entire time. So we do our due diligence to get you back into your driveways as much as possible by rocking and those. And that's during construction. We'll have a representative on site, a construction inspector that will kind of help, you know, answer a lot of questions that you might have for details for the day-to-day activities. And also if something, you know, if you kind of say, well, it was a little rough here, you kind of point that out to the person and they'll help get any detailed construction items kind of addressed. So.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Yep.
All right. Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, let me see here. I see Joe. Unmute you, Jody.
Can you hear us now?
We can,
Yep.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We were planning on having a wedding mid-September in our yard. We're towards the northwest side of 44th Street. And we're just wondering if we will be able to do that or not.
So are you on the northwest side of 44th Street? What what I would do is let's I won't get your name and information right now, but if you could email Justin
Sure.
and kind of talk through with some details of that, we can work together with the contractor and kind of make sure that can happen. So,
Okay.
do you have Justin's contact there?
Yeah, my wife is writing it as fast as she can.
Okay. And there again, you can always contact the city and and just kind of identify the project, and it'll find its way to us if you miss, lose it or anything. You can always find us also on that city website. You can go to the project map on the city website, and you can get all of our contact information there as well. So that way we can get some more details from you.
Sure.
And put some provisions in the contract to make that happen. So,
All righty. Well, thank you
That's
very
it.
much.
yep.
Okay, I see Meredith. Let me, Meredith, if you could.
All right, this is actually your husband, but
Oh, that's right. Nope, sorry.
yeah, quick. So on this map, you show different stages of this project. Do you anticipate those going in numerical order, or is it going to be kind of stage one at this point in the stage? So we're in stage 6D along 33rd Street. We're just trying to get an idea of when maybe that would be, as we're actually looking to put our house on the market. So we're trying to figure out if we're going to have access to our house or not.
So I would assume and that's kind of something that we would be able to, once we get a contractor on board, we would be able to kind of tell you the exact
Okay.
time frame that if they were going to try and do that next year, are they going to do it this year? And so I would assume that it would kind of go in the stages as it is. That just makes chronological sense in terms of but that's to us engineers, but the contractor may think, oh, they might come in and bore a lot of the items together, or try and make it as cheap as possible for them. So so there again, if you take Justin's information, at least he can kind of give you more information as we move through the process.
Okay, perfect. I have it written down, so we'll follow up with Justin then.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have any other questions? Okay, I see Matt. Let me see if Matt, we can. There you go.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, so we're along 33rd Street as well. But we were just wondering if there'd be an opportunity, since the road is going to be torn up anyway, to replace our sewer connection, since a lot of houses in this area are pretty old.
Yeah, is there a known issue with it, or is it just do you have like Orangeburg or something of that nature?
Yeah, we do have the Orangeburg tile.
Okay.
That was kind of just a question, just to get it out of the way, if it's convenient.
And we've been looking through the sanitary. We had all the sanitary sewer videoed as well, trying to find any issues associated with the sanitary while we're in here and we have the road tore up. We haven't completed that 100% yet, but but looking through that, we may actually have some additional sanitary repairs through here too. What is your address on 33rd? Or you can,
It's
you don't
just
have to
33rd.
tell us now. You can kind of email Justin and let us know so we can be aware of, when you have Orangeburg in the area, you're probably going to find more of it, kind of thing too. So yeah, if you could just kind of give Justin a quick email and just say, hey, I live at this address, and then say, hey, looking to, and I don't know if you have any further information of like videos that you had done to identify where exactly the problem is too. So, or just have that
we could just
kind of
message.
discussion with Justin and kind of identify what the issues are. So,
And Dave, just out of curiosity, do you ever have people that work separately with the contractor on site to replace their service, Dave?
so that's another option is if people sometimes want to make an improvement to something and it's not affected by the contract. Residents sometimes will hire the contractor that we have working, or they may hire a different contractor, and we just coordinate with that. The benefit of doing it while the street is tore up is your contractor does not have to replace the street pavement, which saves a lot of money. So.
And that honestly would be
Thank you.
completely at the discretion of the contractor. We obviously can't force them to work with you, but that's happened before where, like I said, people just work directly with the contractor. And once we know who the contractor is, once we bid it, then they work directly with the contractor and arrange that. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Okay. Okay, do we have any other questions? Great questions. Great questions. I'll give it just a few seconds here for questions. Well, and if you think of any later, again, sorry for scrolling through the screen so fast here, but I'm gonna put Justin's information up here. You can reach out to us at the engineering department if you think of any questions later. Again, there will be more notices that come out, especially to those living right along the streets where sewers get installed. There'll be letter mailings to provide an update, and when we have a contractor on board, a more known schedule. But if you think of anything, like I said, please reach out to us. Again, this information will be posted. This video and this presentation will be posted on the city's website, dsm.city, www.dsm.city. If you go to the engineering department and projects and studies, you can find out there's a link to this project, and you can find out all the background and including these presentations. So we'll give one last pause. Okay, here, hold on a second here. I see Paul. Let me see if I can get you.
Just wanted to say thank you to our elected officials for participating in this presentation.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Paul. Yep. Yeah. Thank you. I see Councilmember Mandelbaum's got the thumbs up there. Councilmember Voss, Mayor County, and yeah, thank you for joining us as well. I'm proud I'm also a resident of Des Moines. I'm proud the city is taking an aggressive approach on infrastructure and knocking this all out by 2023. It's a lot of work, and it's impactful to say the least. We're not going to sugarcoat it. Sewer work is impactful, but the benefits are awesome, and improving our neighborhood infrastructure, our streets, and our sewers to eliminate these combined sewer overflows. So, as President, I share your appreciation and thank our electeds who are for moving this forward. So thank you so much, Paul. Thank you. Well, hearing no further questions, we'll go ahead and we'll end the meeting here. Again, I can't thank everyone enough for your time and joining us. I thank you all for the questions. Again, if you think of any later, please contact us at the engineering department. Otherwise, we're looking to march forward this summer with this phase. And so that being said, this concludes our meeting, and I hope everyone stays safe and healthy and have a great evening.